which started off with the original water bottle rocket that had the piece of PVC strapped to the side. We added fins for stability, and then a nose cone with the capability to hold a payload. In this example is right now I'm using a water balloon, and the way it will work, hopefully, is when it launches, and then after the propellant depletes, it will then do a tumble, and out will fall the payload. So let's watch my version of it, and this isn't the only version. There are several other ways you can do it, but here's how I chose to. Okay, so we're at the launch site, also known as the neighborhood park, and so we have the rocket, and the payload we'll be flying is a balloon, which is about 290 grams. I weighed it, and then we'll be sticking the nose cone over it. So hopefully after the launch and the propellant depletes, it'll roll over, the nose cone will come off, and our payload will come out. Because eventually that will be our egg with its recovery mechanism. So let's fuel our rocket. Okay, so it's fueled and ready to go. A little concerned, it's a pretty windy day. It's best to launch them on calm days, but we're gonna give it a shot and see how this goes. Okay, so we did a couple of test flights, and with the nose cone on our rocket, it did not separate, and it ended up just being kind of a lawn dart and sticking in the ground. So the second time, we just stuck the payload up inside the payload area, and that worked. We had separation, it turned over, the payload fell out. Of course, it didn't. The water balloon did not survive the impact, but that really wasn't the objective. This might be a little. It might have been a little heavy. It was about 300 grams. I don't know if my lander will be quite that much. Eggs are quite a bit lighter than that, but some success, and we'll have to go back to the drawing board. So initially, I was using a 3-foot dowel rod, and I was having a pretty poor launch. I broke the rod about in half and just used much shorter distance, and I'm getting much more height. So the drag coming off the pole, the launch rod, is a factor, so we need to minimize that. Alright, so this time we're going to use the full-up vehicle with the fins and the payload, but with a shorter stick. I was having some rubbing here, and I just don't think that I think that the longer distance was giving me some problems on additional drag coming off the pad. So let's give this a shot. Gotta come film it. This version is definitely too heavy. I don't think our astronaut would ever survive a landing like that. Back to the drawing board. Okay, so the first launches with the payload were kind of dismal. Didn't get much altitude, and I think weight had a bigger factor than I anticipated. Which, you know, that is a really big thing in space. We have to work hard to keep everything light. So I think I'm gonna simplify it. I'm not gonna put any fins on it. So for this iteration, and I just cut a ring out by itself without the bottom. And I'm just gonna tape it like this, put the payload right here, and see how that works. All right, and I'm also not gonna use duct tape. I'm gonna use this lighter clear tape. So let's give this a shot. So I've attached just a ring of a Coke bottle on top with a little pocket so I can put my payload, which this time is just a balloon. I don't know if it'll work without fins. It might tumble on us, but let's give it a shot. All right, here we go. Well, we're back from the field and thinking about the data we collected. So, although this one looks really cool, and I thought this idea would work, I think what's happening is it's flying, well, first of all, it's too heavy, and we're not getting off the ground very high. And second, my first flights, I had too long of a rod, and I think I was getting too much drag along. The rod was scratching along the nose cone as well as just more friction here. So shortening the rod up did help, but I still was not getting the height I wanted. And then I think it flew so straight that the aerodynamic forces pushing against the cone never let it separate. So it just became like a dart and stuck in the ground. So this design of mine was kind of an epic failure, unfortunately. Now, back to the more basic one. Really happy with this. Pretty cool. I thought without the fins that it would tumble on us, but it didn't. We got good separation. The balloon you saw flew away from it. So I'm going to pursue this one. Now, I'm not saying that your kids may not be able to come up with something like this. Or another completely different solution might be, instead of separating the payload from here, maybe your whole vehicle, your egg is in here, it's attached in here, and the whole vehicle lands. So your booster and everything would come on down, maybe a big parachute, wings or something. So, you know, kids' imagination, so maybe they come up with something where it doesn't try to eject, but I'm still working on trying to get my payload away from here and then like down to the ground safely. But all right, we'll see where we go from here now.